Hey parents. So yesterday in middle school, we continued our series Shepherd, looking at Psalm 23. Yesterday we were in the second half of verse 4, which really simply says, "Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." And so we talked a little bit about what a rod and a staff are. And a rod is really just a simple tool, kind of like a club, that the shepherd would use to protect his animals from predators. The staff, on the other hand, was a long, slender piece of wood with a little bit of a curl on the end. You've probably seen a picture of it or seen it on TV. But the shepherd would use this for a couple of things. One, he could use that curled end to take and to pull a sheep towards him if the sheep was in danger or he needed to examine the sheep. But he could also use the flat end, and he would set it on their sheep's side and could use that to guide them where he wanted them to go. It would be a lot like if someone took their hands and put them on our shoulders and guided us through a space. And so what we see from this is because God is our shepherd, because he is always with us, that just like a good shepherd protects their sheep, that he protects us. And just like a shepherd guides and leads them to good and safe places in life, God, he is guiding and leading us through our life. And because of this, we can have peace. Because Jesus is our shepherd, we can have peace. We don't have to be stressed out. We don't have to be anxious. We don't have to live our life in fear. So yesterday we asked our students a couple of questions. And the first one was this: do you have peace in your life? Now, of course, we all have things that cause us stress and anxiety from time to time. But the question we were asking students is your life more marked by peace, or is it more marked by stress and anxiety and fear? And so that was the first question we asked students to identify. And then after that, we simply asked them, okay, if you are living in stress and anxiety and fear, which I'll just say I think is probably the norm for most students, why? Why are you stressed out? Why do you find yourself anxious all the time? What are you afraid of? And now, again, that could be a complicated question to ask because many of us could probably give 30 or 40 or 50 answers to that question. But what we ask students to do is just to simplify it. What is the biggest thing that causes you stress or fear or anxiety? And then after we ask students those two questions, we kind of set aside a little bit of time for them to pray, for them just to get some space in the room and to spend time with God. We gave them a guided prayer that basically said, God, I know that you are good. I know that you protect me and that you guide me and lead me through life. And so I am surrendering this thing to you. Whatever that thing was that they named that was causing them stress or anxiety, we just invited them to surrender that to God and to trust him. So as always, let me encourage you to keep talking about this with your students at home. And one way that you might do that this week is simply by sharing with your students honestly, what are those things that stress you out? What are the things that make you anxious or cause you fear? And then what has it looked like in your life to surrender those things to God? And how have you felt his peace in doing so? Yesterday in high school, we continued our series, Love Does. And this series is based on a book by a guy named Bob Goff called Love Does. And if you haven't read that book, let me encourage you to do that. It's a great read. It's really easy and light and funny read. And so let me encourage you to pick that book up if you haven't. But yesterday we looked at this simple idea that God is with us. He is Emmanuel, God with us. And Bob shared this story of how someone had come alongside of him in his life and simply been with him in a hard time. Not been overeager to fix things or to give advice, but he just simply was present with Bob. He was a friend to Bob in the middle of a hard time. And that's what Jesus does with us. He comes into our life and he is with us. And yes, he wants to fix us, right? God wants to heal us, and he is one who has the ability to do that. But he also just wants to be with us. And see, because God is with us, we can then go and be with others. Again, not to try to have all the answers for them or say the right things, although there is a time and place to speak truth into people's lives. But I think part of our calling as followers of Jesus, as we have been loved by him, is to love others in that way. By simply showing up and being present in their life, by being constant. And so we encouraged students yesterday to think about who are the people in your life that you can be showing up for? Who can you be with just as Jesus is with you? So that was our challenge to students. Be asking themselves that question. Who can I be with? All right, parents, that is it for today. Hey, just one quick reminder. Registration for Generate Camp 2025 is open now. So you can find that by going to our website, newlifeonline.org. You can go to the Student Life tab, scroll down a little bit, and there'll be a button for camp. You'll find all the information there, and then towards the bottom of that page, there'll be a link to register. Just don't forget your registration is not complete and your student spot is not locked in until you've paid a $100 deposit. Hey, have a great rest of your week.